What if the perfect life you thought you had was actually built on a lie? A really, really big lie, buried for over 20 years. Today, we're diving into a story that kicks off with a sister's mysterious disappearance and ends with her brother-in-law's brutal murder, exposing a truth that is just way more horrific than anyone could possibly imagine.
Just listen to these words. They're from a father's journal, written to his missing daughter, Julia. Back in 1991, at just 19 years old, she vanished after leaving a bar. And for years, her family held out hope. But eventually, her disappearance just became this cold, unhealed wound right at the heart of their family.
And for 2 whole decades, that wound just festered. But a single, violent act in the present is about to rip the whole thing wide open. You see, the shocking murder of a seemingly perfect husband, well, that's the key that's finally going to unlock the horrifying truth of what really happened to Julia.
So who's at the center of all this? That would be Julia's younger sister, Claire. We come into her life, a life with her husband, Paul, in what looks like a totally perfect marriage, right before it all comes crashing down.
Claire's world was like a fortress of meticulous order, all designed by her architect husband, Paul. This guy was obsessed with control. He labeled everything in their perfect house. I'm talking everything, from the router to the main water valve. It was a life of seamless, calculated perfection, and Claire, well, she was its prized possession. But that perfect facade, it shatters in an instant. During a walk one night, Claire and Paul get attacked in an alley, and Paul is brutally killed, right there in front of her. Just like that, Claire is a widow, left all alone in this perfect house her husband built, trying to make sense of a completely senseless, violent crime.
So as she's trying to pick up the pieces, sorting through his meticulously organized office, she finds something that's totally out of place. Tucked away is a hidden hard drive, the one thing in the entire house that Paul never bothered to label. So what secrets was this perfect husband hiding?
Well, the contents of that drive are a complete nightmare. Claire finds these horrific videos showing a woman being tortured by a man in this grotesque leather mask. But when she takes this evidence to the police, they just brush her off. They label it snuff porn, disturbing fantasy they claim, but ultimately totally fake.
But you know that feeling in your gut, right? Claire has it. Her gut tells her what she saw was horrifyingly real, and that suspicion opens up a wound that's haunted her family for decades, forcing them to confront the ghost of the sister they lost so long ago.
To really get this, you have to understand there are 2 huge tragedies separated by more than 20 years that define this family. First, on March 4, 1991, Claire's 19-year-old sister, Julia, just vanishes. Now, in the present, Claire's husband has been murdered. What nobody suspects, of course, is that these 2 violent acts are deeply connected.
And the impact of Julia's disappearance? It was catastrophic. In his journal, their father wrote about how the loss completely shattered their mother, and how he, for his part, never ever stopped searching for his daughter. That grief just tore the family apart, sending them all down separate, broken paths.
So now this shared trauma forces a reunion between 2 sisters who haven't spoken in years. And to find the truth, they're going to have to form an unlikely and pretty dangerous alliance.
See, after Julia's disappearance, her 2 remaining sisters took completely opposite paths. Claire became the girl who made herself invisible, just retreating into this perfect life as Mrs. Paul Scott. Lydia, on the other hand, she channeled her pain into self-destruction, becoming an addict with a felony conviction to her name.
Convinced the videos are real, and with the police refusing to help, Claire turns to the one person who might actually understand, her estranged sister Lydia. Bound by this shared tragedy, they agree to investigate Paul's secrets themselves, no matter what it costs them.
And just like that, the sisters begin their own investigation, pulling at the threads of a life Claire thought she knew and unraveling a web of lies that is so much darker than she could have ever imagined.
Their investigation is, well, it's a terrifying spiral downwards. They analyze the files, which leads them to a secret farmhouse Paul owned, a place Claire never even knew existed. And there, they find a hidden, soundproofed room designed for torture. But the most chilling discovery of all, the victims in the videos look an awful lot like Claire and Lydia themselves.
This room they find, it's not just a room. It's a purpose-built stage for horror. It's designed to look like a dungeon, and it's got chains bolted to the wall, a filthy mattress on the floor, and professional camera equipment. Yeah, this wasn't random violence.
This was a calculated, repeatable nightmare.
Every clue is leading them to a truth that is more terrible than they could have possibly prepared for. They start to realize this evil, it isn't just about Paul. It's about the sins of his father. They pretty soon realize the evil they've uncovered didn't start with Paul. Nope, he wasn't the architect of this horror. He was just carrying on a twisted family legacy, a darkness that was passed down from father to son.
It all comes down to one thing, a single, hidden photograph that connects every last thread. The image shows their sister Julia, brutally murdered, and standing next to her body is not the man in the mask, but a smiling, 15-year-old Paul Scott, giving the camera 2 enthusiastic thumbs up.
And the absolute most chilling part? Their own father Samuel, he saw the darkness in Paul from the very beginning. Years ago, after meeting the boy his daughter would one day marry, he wrote this in his journal: "Men like Paul do not marry women, they own them." He saw the predator hiding in plain sight, the monster who would one day try to consume his entire family.
Paul Scott's story is it's a terrifying reminder, isn't it? That behind the most perfect facade can lie the most horrifying depths. It leaves all of us with one chilling question. How long can a monster really hide in plain sight before someone, anyone, finally sees them?